Hello and welcome to my action research proposal. For my professional practice, I was placed at a school located in the Western Sydney suburban area called Hassel Grove. Hassel Grove Public School is a part of the Mount Druitt Network, which is a low socioeconomic area. There are 710 students altogether in Hassel Grove Public School, out of which 7.3% are Indigenous students and 49% are EALD learners. The well-being and success of students is a primary concern of Hassel Grove Public School. For this reason, Hassel Grove Public School has incorporated a range of programs that aim to literate and numerate students through providing collaborative learning experiences. Hassel Grove Public School has incorporated programs such as Second Step, Accelerated Literacy, Maths, Mentals, and TENS. These programs enhance learning and readiness in students. These approaches ensure that students with a wide range of abilities are catered for in numeracy and literacy. The school caters for students' well-being through delivering strong social and emotional curriculum incorporated through the programs mentioned above. There is a large focus on technology in Hassel Grove Public School. The school ensures that students are consistently engaged in project-based learning and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics units of work. Hassel Grove Public School has a PBM strategy in place that is based around Dojo system. Students were very well aware of the learning expectations as they were already set in place through the classroom teacher. Hassel Grove Public School's positive behavior management strategy is incorporated across all grades. PBM is based around the Dojo system in Hassel Grove Public School. Dojo points are given out to students for displaying respectful and safe learning behavior. Once the students have received a certain number of Dojo points, they get a reward. This creates a positive classroom environment as it motivates students to fulfill the learning expectations to be rewarded. 6R was a very diverse class full of learners with a range of learning abilities. One student out of 25 students was diagnosed with ADHD who fell under the gifted and talented range. He liked working in his own space and his needs were catered for. Most students in 6R could work independently. 5 to 6 students fell under the range of emergent learners and required assistance completing tasks. Emergent learners were placed in the front row so they were attentive and listening. The student with ADHD was seated considering his personal space so he is comfortable in his learning environment. Majority of the students were technologically literate and displayed a good understanding across all KLAs. Students were able to communicate their learning towards the end of each lesson as we consolidated the learning through whole class discussions. However, some students lacked the ability to give a reasoning behind their learning, and this impacted their confidence towards their learning. Furthermore, the level of engagement wasn't the best as students completed their work more as a responsibility or a task than really engaging into their learning or being curious about it. The 21st century pedagogy that I have chosen to increase engagement levels is project-based learning. I am going to incorporate project-based learning into my lessons to promote deep engagement and learning. PBL is a teaching method that drives student learning through engaging them in real-world, meaningful projects. It gives students the opportunity to develop content knowledge and develop 21st century skills such as critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication skills that they can apply throughout their life's learning curves. The intellectual, social, and physical aspects of PBL go hand in hand with the high cognitive, affective, and operative engagement in the NE framework. PBL promotes critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, and various forms of communication. I believe that this will create meaningful learning experiences and give students the opportunity to explain their learning confidently as they will be immersing into the hands on experiences whilst absorbing new concepts. It will also promote high order thinking skills as students will learn to work as a team. The ME framework promotes engagement through cognitive, affective, and operative thinking, and this intertwined with PBL will create meaningful learning experiences for students. It will also encourage problem solving, risk taking, constructing new knowledge, and increase self efficacy skills among students. Furthermore, it will assist EALD students as they will be able to practice their social interaction skills and will be able to justify their learning and findings through confident communication, as that was not evident in 6R students. According to Winch et al., EALG students can practice and improve their social interaction and literacy skills as they develop a deepened understanding through PBL. Learning Experience 1. Learning Experience 2. Learning Experience 3. Data collection. Data will be collected as work samples, observations, and self-reflections. In the first lesson, students will complete their research and upload it on Google Docs. This will give me an idea of each group's learning based on their research. I will be annotating student work that they will submit online to give them feedback. In the second lesson experience, after the class discussion of students' findings, students will hand in their posters to me for marking. Students will also hand in their planning sheet, notes, drafts, and any questions they had pre-research and the answers they found through their research. In the third lesson experience, at the end of the third lesson experience, students will be handing in a presentation along with the video recording of the experiment. Students will be handing this in through USB or uploading it on Google Docs. According to SEEDS 2008, collecting student work sample is very critical for teachers as it gives them an insight to students' developmental progress over time. This will assist the teachers as they can understand whether the student is improving academically and displays students' strengths and weaknesses in their learning. This will enable teachers to create learning experiences that will cater for students' learning needs and help them improve. The second set of data will be collected through observations. I will be using student observation during the self-directed parts of the lesson. I will be observing student engagement in the lesson experiences. I have designed observation tables for each learning experience where I will annotate my feedback and comments for each group. These observation tables will enable me to tick off the effectiveness of the learning experience. Of enthusiasm, their attitude towards their learning and working. These framework. Furthermore, I have incorporated the use of me framework in the third lesson observation, as students will be marked based on their planning, reasoning, and problem-solving skills. The marking checklist for lesson 3 will also consist of student level of enthusiasm, their attitude towards their learning and working. These checklists will help me navigate which groups displayed highest levels of engagement. My third method of self-reflection has derived from Munn's and Woodward's dimensions of self-assessment. Towards the end of each lesson, students will fill out the tables which will give me an idea of their understanding of this unit of work. Students will use the table sheet given out to them. Students will use the self-reflection table to write their reflection in their books. It will also help students reflect on their learning experience and how they feel about it. This method will also give me an opportunity to analyze the effectivity of these lesson experiences and how they can be improved to further cater students and their learning needs. Analyzing these lesson experiences through a reflection sheet and annotated feedback will display whether project-based learning is an effective tool towards creating engagement in classroom. The student data that I will collect through these tables will help me understand the effectiveness of these lesson experiences as I will gain an insight on student achievement and student engagement. The collected data will be analyzed through markers of engagement and achievement. I will be using the syllabus outcomes as markers of achievement and the markers of engagement will be the ME framework. Markers of achievement. I will be using the collected student work sample to mark it against the science and technology syllabus outcomes given in the table. I will be analyzing if students planned and conducted the investigation effectively and are able to justify their findings. Furthermore, I will be using the observation checklist to analyze if students have successfully met the outcomes. Lastly, students need to meet the outcome ST3 to DPT through their final presentation when they will explain the strategies or materials they use to keep the boat floating. Students will also explain their learning about different materials they use for a range of purposes and their properties that help them float. Markers of engagement. Markers of engagement will be analyzed through the student reflection form, observation checklist, and work samples. The ME framework is incorporated into the student reflection forms, which will help me analyze student engagement. The work samples and student reflection will provide an insight to the successful incorporation of engagement along with ME framework. The work samples will display how much work students can complete while staying engaged in each lesson, which is highly operative. Students' display of positive attitude towards their work, highly operative. Students' display of high levels of productivity, also highly operative. Successful collaborative work respecting each other's idea, group discussions, and allocations of work to each group member. Display of a deep understanding or interest in the task, which is high effective. Incorporating teacher feedback into their work, highly cognitive, and displaying understanding through providing logical reasoning behind their learning, high cognitive. Summary statement. This action research plan has helped me reflect on my professional development and how I can improve them in the future. This experience will help me reflect over my teaching practice and modify it where needed. The learning experiences that I have created will give me an understanding of how students learn through my observation illustrating EITSL Standard 1.2. Furthermore, the results that I achieve through data analysis will give me an insight to the effectiveness of my planning and teaching skills illustrating EITSL Standard 3.2. The incorporation of a range of technology in these learning experiences will give students the opportunity to explore the use of a range of digital mediums and improve their digital skills, illustrating EITSL Standard 3.4. Moreover, the constant feedback and annotation that I provide students will help them improve their learning, illustrating EITSL Standard 5.1 and 5.2. I believe that when I put this research into work, feedback from my well experienced colleagues will be quite beneficial as it will give me an insight to my abilities from a different perspective and help me further improve my skills fulfilling the EITSL Standard 6.3.